guys, welcome to AMSA Utah. In conjunction with Virtual AMSA Health Day, we will be uploading a series of videos related to sex education. Here is the list of our videos that will be uploaded on a weekly basis. Each video comes with a quiz and you can get a 10 ringgit Grab voucher as a reward for completing the quiz. So please act fast because we are only giving out 50 vouchers per quiz. Also, do remember to subscribe to our channel and turn on the notifications so you won't miss out on any of our videos and quizzes. Before we proceed to the video content, we would like to say a huge thank you to Public Bank Berhad for sponsoring this video. So, without further ado, let's talk about the birds and the bees. So, in this video, we are going to talk about the meaning of the birds and the bees, the importance and the parents' duty to give this talk to their children, the benefits of this talk, and a guide on how to approach this subject to children according to different age groups. At this point, some of you might be really curious what exactly is the birds and the bees. Well, let me explain it to you. The Birds and the Bees is a child-friendly story used to introduce sexual intercourse to children. The story is about a bee and a bird which flies to a flower. The bee flies to the flower and gives the flower pollens, representing how a man brings about fertilization. On the other hand, the bird will lay an egg that represents female ovulation. Now, let's talk about the importance of the Birds and the Bees talk. Many people have the misconception that sex education is a topic that should not be brought up. Often, people feel ashamed to talk about it. As a result, many people are seen to have unwanted pregnancies with some leading to an abortion. In addition, some may get sexually transmitted diseases such as herpes, chlamydia, and HPV. For this reason, now I'll be explaining why this talk is very important to be explained to children before they get to go out and experience the world outside by themselves. First of all, children learn to be mindful and respectful of other people. The Birds and the Bees talk includes personal space, privacy, and the various opinions regarding sex. This teaches children to learn to be mindful and respectful to everyone regardless of their gender. It is necessary for them to understand what personal space means. Everyone's body belongs to themselves and no one is allowed to touch them and cross that boundary without permission. Hence, when a child is making physical contact with their friends, for instance, hugging them, they would ask for permission first. This also applies to themselves, so they will be able to learn to respect their own and other people's bodies. In terms of privacy, certain activities such as going to the bathroom is done privately. It is necessary for them to learn to knock the door before entering someone's room or locking the door when using the bathroom. This makes them mindful of intruding on other people's personal time and protecting their bodies from unwanted exposure. Sex can be viewed in many ways. For instance, some believe that sex should only happen after marriage and some believe otherwise. Well, we are not here judging whether it is right or wrong when it comes to topics like this. Understanding this fact allows them to be more open-minded about sex and accept opinions opposing theirs rather than arguing on how their view is right. As much as sex isn't a shameful topic to talk about, it isn't really appropriate to speak on certain occasions since it is referring to something private. Thus, they will also be able to learn how to differentiate what kind of sexual-related topics will be appropriate to speak with others or in certain places. Next, sex education also helps children to be more responsible for their actions. By acquiring knowledge about sex, children can understand the impacts of carrying out sexual actions. This knowledge allows them to prepare themselves better if they choose to engage in it. This helps reduce teenage pregnancy from occurring. Besides this, they will be able to identify sexual abuse and report to their parents about such incidents. This is a short conversation between a woman and a boy. The woman is trying to persuade the boy to take off his pants to let her see his penis. In this scenario, the boy did a really great job by rejecting the woman's request and deciding to report the situation to his parents so that his parents will be well aware of any possible sexual assault happening around the boy. Now, let's move on to parents' duty. Have you ever wondered, why parents? Why is it the parents' duty to give this talk to their children? Well, first of all, parents are immediate role models that children look up to and trust. This makes them the best people to educate their children on such sensitive subject. As parents, they are able to ensure that children are getting correct information with precise examples so that they are able to fully understand about sex. However, if parents are late on stepping in to teach them, these children may be misled and influenced with inaccurate information from peers and adult magazines and media that portray the fulfillment of unrealistic situations. These will create misunderstandings that are difficult to clear up since children tend to believe these other sources. This also provides parents the chance to instill their personal morals into their children. For instance, parents that believe that sex should only happen after marriage are able to make their children believe in this if they educate them early on. However, the same can't be said to teenagers since they are already influenced by other sources and believe they can make their own decisions. Now, let us move on to the outcome of the talk. So, what are the benefits of giving this talk? The most noticeable outcome of the Bird and the Bees talk is that it strengthens and improves the relationship between parents and their child. As we all know, communication is an essential tool in maintaining a relationship, and this includes parents and their children. During this talk, honest and effective communication can leave a positive imprint on the child. They will view their parents as reliable and trustable. This is important when they become adolescents. They will become more comfortable and confident to talk about their thoughts, such as anxiety, depression, relationships, drugs, alcohol, and sexual issues to their parents. Now, let's move on to how should we parents approach our children about this topic. If you're feeling nervous about talking to your children about this topic, don't be. We are all human, and even as parents, we may make mistakes. But remember, our priority is our children's well-being. We want the best for our children. So here, I'll introduce some tips on how to approach the topic or just any other topic you want to have with your children. First, make sure your child is comfortable with having this talk. If they show any signs of discomfort, stop and ask if they prefer to continue at another time. It is better to continue when they are feeling prepared rather than forcing them to be in a situation they dislike. Before teaching, ask the child if they know about sex. This allows you to gauge the extent of their knowledge and correct any misconceptions they have. It is important to not force your own beliefs on your child. They should be free to have their own opinions and ask any questions regarding the topic. During this conversation, it is normal for there to be awkward moments. Relieving them with a joke or a personal experience may make it easier for both of you and your child. Sometimes, it doesn't have to be a talk. For instance, let's just say that you are the mother. You are changing your sanitary pad during your period, and your child sees this and asks what you were doing. Instead of hiding this away from your child and telling them they would understand when they grow up, it is better to just explain to them a simple version of what is happening. This satisfies their curiosity and enables them to learn naturally. To some, it may seem like a hassle and painfully awkward to teach their children about this topic. They may opt to give a big one-time talk to them. However, this may lead to the child being stuffed with information until they can't fully understand what they are being taught. In another case, giving this talk when the child has become an adolescent is particularly difficult. At that age, they think that they know everything and they won't be willing to listen anymore. This is why teaching children as they grow is the best strategy. Teens tend to be very private in sharing their personal thoughts. By starting off the birds and the bees talk at an early age, they will no longer be awkward or shy to open up their thoughts with their parents, especially in difficult or dangerous situations. Hence, having an open communication about sex or other related subjects is healthier and safer in the long run. This timeline shows children of different age groups, and I'll be talking about the appropriate sexual education given to them accordingly. For toddlers, they should know the names of their body parts, including the genitals. This allows them to communicate better about any health issues or abuse. They also need to know the difference in genitals between males and females. It is normal for them to explore and touch their body out of curiosity, but they also need to be aware of an appropriate time and place to do so. For early childhood, which is around 2 to 5 years old, at such a young age, children are curious about pregnancy and how babies are made rather than sex itself. Hence, there isn't a need to cover details. Understanding the function of their body parts is also vital. Some children believe that they urinate and defecate from the same place, so it is important for them to fully understand their body. They should also be aware of personal space and privacy, which has been covered in the previous slides. This applies especially to the genitals, where no one besides their parents should be able to touch regardless of permission. This allows them to identify sexual abuse. For children in between 5 to 8 years old, which is in their middle childhood, puberty is beginning to occur, and they should understand it is normal for physical and emotional changes to happen. They should be given a more detailed description of reproduction, where sperm leaves the father through his penis during ejaculation and joins the egg in the mother's vagina during sexual intercourse to form a baby. They should know that sex is an activity only done by adults and not by children. They may also encounter websites with adult videos and pictures. They need to know it isn't appropriate for them and what they should do in that situation. For example, leave the website and inform their parents about it. This allows parents to turn on the parental controls function to filter any inappropriate contents. For late childhood or preteens, which is around 9 to 12 years old, girls need to be prepared for their first period and boys for their wet dreams and ejaculation. Once they are capable of doing so, they should know that they are fertile and able to produce babies if they engage in sex. They should have some basic knowledge of sexually transmitted infections where they can be spread during sex, but there are ways to practice safer sex with the use of contraception. Practicing internet safety is important to protect themselves. If they were sharing sexually explicit photos of themselves, this puts them at risk of the photos spreading throughout the internet, potentially ruining their lives. Pornography does not portray realistic sexual experiences, and they should not be taken as an example of how their experience with sex would be like. And finally, for teenagers, which is around 13 to 18 years old, they should learn about menstruation in greater detail. They should also be taught more about pregnancy, sexually transmitted diseases, various types of contraception, and its purpose in safer sex. It is very important to understand consent in a relationship and the ability to refuse and end an unhealthy relationship. Everyone has the freedom of making choices. Leaving a toxic relationship is healthier for them and prevents further damage to their relationship with others. Thank you so much for watching this video. Please remember to try out the quiz in the description box, as you have got the chance to get a 10 ringgit Grab voucher upon completion. If you think this video is helpful, please don't forget to like and share it, make sure you hit the subscribe button and turn on the notifications. See you in the next video!